I want to drill down into Cruz care because there's a statement you made about Obamacare that has gotten a lot of attention since the debate. Here it is.
We have seen now in 6 years of Obamacare that it's been a disaster. It is the biggest job killer in this country. Millions of Americans have lost their jobs, have been forced into part-time work, have lost their health insurance, have lost their doctors, have seen their premiums skyrocket.
But, Senator, the fact checkers say you're wrong. Since that law went into effect, the unemployment rate fell from 9.9% to 5%, as 13 million new jobs were created, and 16.3 million people who were previously uninsured now have coverage. Now, don't get me wrong. There are plenty of problems with Obamacare, but more people have jobs and health insurance than they did before Obamacare.
Chris, the media fact checkers are not fair and impartial. They are liberal editorial journalists, and they have made it their mission to defend Obamacare.
Wait a minute. There's certainly no question that more people have jobs and more people have health insurance coverage.
Yes, there is question. Number one, we have the lowest percentage of Americans working today of any year since 1977. That's a fact.
But there have been 13 million jobs created, sir. That's a fact.
The fact is that from 2008 to today, we've seen economic growth of 1.2% on average.
Sir,
Chris, don't interrupt me. I'll give an answer.
That's changing the subject. 13 million new jobs have been created.
And that is an historically slow rate of job creation. If you look at what has occurred in any previous year, you know, Obama's the first president never to have a year of 3% economic growth. Millions of people in this country are hurting. And one of the problems is you've got the elite, the Washington elite. The rich have gotten richer under Barack Obama. The top 1% earn a higher share of our income than any year since 1928. But working men and women are hurting. And I'll tell you, you know, representing Texas, one of the things I do when I go home is I host small business roundtables. And I'll bring together 10, 20, 30 small business owners around the table and just ask them, share what's on your heart, share what you're thinking about, share what you're praying about. I have never done a small business table where at least half the small business owners didn't list Obamacare as the single biggest obstacle they are facing. Millions of Americans have lost their jobs, and the people who have been forced into part-time work, or have lost their health care, have lost their doctors, or have seen their premiums skyrocket.
Let's talk, sir, about your alternative, what you say you would do after you repeal Obamacare, how you would replace it. And this is what you listed in the debate. Sell health insurance across state lines, expand health savings accounts, make insurance portable so you can take it with you if you switch jobs. Now, conservative think tanks say that those are all good ideas. They also say they would have almost no effect in giving people who are now uninsured health coverage.
Well, that's simply not the case. So, for example, the biggest barrier to access is cost. If you want more people covered, what you want is lower cost. When you ask people, why don't you have health insurance? They say, gosh, I can't afford it. Allowing people to purchase health insurance across state lines would create a true 50-state national marketplace. That would drive down the cost and expand the availability of low-cost catastrophic coverage.
But, sir, the Congressional Budget Office, nonpartisan, the National Center for Policy Analysis, certainly not a left-wing group, have both said that that kind of selling insurance across state lines would have minimal effect in expanding access.
Listen, I can't speak to what the CBO can say. What I can tell you is if you want more people to have choices, you want more choices and lower costs. That's what gives more people health insurance. If you want fewer people to have health insurance, you want fewer choices and higher costs, which is what Obamacare does. For example, President Obama told the American people that under Obamacare, the average family's premiums would drop $2,500. In fact, the average family's premiums have risen $3,000. Now, Chris, if you're a single mom, if you're struggling to feed your kids, $5,500, that is real money that you can't provide for your family. And this law is a disaster. People are hurting. I'll tell you, as I travel the country, everywhere I go, I talk to people. You know, we had an event Friday night. Let me give you an example.
We're running out of time, and you guys have agreed to 10 minutes, so I just want to ask you two more questions. Look, nobody doubts there are problems with Obamacare. I just wanted to explore those issues with you.
Sure, happy to.